Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Talking Pro Football. My name is Michael Carlyle. We will get you ready for Week 15 in the National Football League, and it's a big week. We've got all 32 teams in action. We've got not one, but two games on Saturday. They both have playoff implications. So let's get right to it. Let's take a look at the standings as we head into Week 15. We'll start in the AFC and the East. Your leaders, the New England Patriots at 9-4. Followed by Buffalo at 7-6. The Dolphins are 6-7. The Jets are 3-10. In the AFC North, the Ravens at 8-5. But then you've got Cleveland and Cincinnati both at 7-6. And the Steelers hanging around. They're 6-1. In the AFC South, the Tennessee Titans sit atop that division. They are 9-4. Colts are 7-6. The Texans and the Jaguars, they're filling up space at the bottom. They're each 2-11. And in the AFC West, Chiefs at 9-4, Chargers 8-5, the Broncos 7-6, the Raiders are 6-7. Now let's look at the playoff situation right now in the AFC. Your top four seeds, your division leaders right now would be the Patriots, the Titans, the Chiefs, and then the Ravens. Your three wild cards would be the Chargers, the Colts, and the Bills. Chargers 8-5, Colts and Bills both 7-6. Right behind them, though, you've got Cleveland at 7-6, Cincinnati at 7-6, Denver at 7-6. Then you've got the Steelers 6-1. Raiders are still hanging on at 6-7. The Dolphins are 6-7. They will probably be 7-7 after this weekend ends. We'll get more into that in just a little bit. So you've got a big logjam of teams right behind those three wild card teams that are jockeying for position and looking to find their way into the playoff picture should the Colts, Bills, the Colts, Bills, or Chargers stumble along the way here down the stretch. So it's really very interesting there. Now, over in the NFC, in the East, the Cowboys, they're 9-4. Washington and Philadelphia are both 6-7. The Giants 4-9. In the NFC North, the Packers, they're in cruise control. They're 10-3. The Vikings are 6-7. Bears 4-9. Detroit 1-11-1. In the NFC South, you've got the Buccaneers at 10-3. Falcons and Saints each 6-7. The Panthers are 5-8. And in the NFC West, the Cardinals 10-3. The Rams 9-4. The 49ers 7-6. The Seahawks are 5-8. Now, the way the playoffs stack up over in the NFC right now, Green Bay would be your top seed, followed by Tampa Bay and Arizona. The Cowboys would be the 4th seed. Your three wild cards, the Rams, the 49ers, and Washington at the moment still hanging on to that final wild card spot at 6-7. Right behind them, though, you've got the Minnesota Vikings. They're 6-7. The Eagles are 6-7. Hell, the Falcons and Saints are each 6-7. The Panthers and Seahawks are 5-8. I don't think the Panthers and Seahawks are going to be able to make enough noise and have enough teams above them falter to find their way into the playoffs, but you never know. We'll see. Mathematically, the Saints and Falcons each have a better shot at 6-7. I don't like what either of those teams are doing right now. I think the Eagles are interesting as far as those teams on the outside looking in. And Minnesota, I've tried to write Minnesota off 2 or 3 different times this season, but they just won't go away. I still don't like them that much, but they're right there. And they're the team immediately behind Washington at the moment for that final wild card spot. So we'll have to see how everything plays out. All right, as far as Week 15 goes, it gets underway on Thursday night, and it's a good one. The Kansas City Chiefs, 3.5-point favorites on the road at the Chargers. Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes are among the top 5 passers in terms of yardage. They had a 30-24 shootout back in Week 3, but the Chiefs, they've been doing this with defense. They're on a 6-game win streak, and they're allowing 17 points or less in each of those 6 wins. I think they continued that trend. The offense will do enough, and it'll probably be a tight game because the Chargers will try to put up points. But in the end, the Chiefs' defense, I think, is the difference in this one. I like Kansas City. The Saturday games will start in Cleveland. The Browns, 5.5-point favorites against the Raiders. And as you heard, talking about the playoff situation in the AFC, both these teams hanging on, trying to stay relevant in the playoff picture. The Browns a little more solidly in the playoff hunt, but they're a very inconsistent team. They've yet to really show that consistency. Now, they've had a lot of injuries. They've had a lot of things go against them, but this is a really good team. Raiders won in Cleveland last year. I don't think that really matters. The Raiders, they're just headed in the wrong direction, and I know they're coming off a win this past week. I don't like anything about Vegas right now. I think you'll probably see a big game defensively from Myles Garrett for the Browns. Baker Mayfield does enough, and I like Cleveland in this one to get the win and to make things even tighter in that AFC playoff hunt. The other Saturday game is in Indianapolis, and the Colts are a 1.5-point favorite against the Patriots. Now, this isn't the glory days. It's not Brady versus Manning, but Mac Jones and Carson Wentz isn't too shabby based on the way both those guys have played this year and the way both these teams are playing. The Patriots, they've got a big task ahead of them. Yes, they've been getting it done defensively, but they're going to have to figure out a way to slow down Jonathan Taylor. Colts coming off a bye. They are solidly in that playoff picture. New England, though, they've won the last 8 meetings. I think they may get 9 in a row. I do like the Patriots on the road. I think it'll be a tight game, probably not a particularly high-scoring game, but if the Patriots defense can neutralize Jonathan Taylor just enough, that's probably all New England needs. On to the Sunday games. We'll start in Buffalo, where the Bills are big favorites, 10.5-point favorites against the Panthers. Buffalo needs this one. They've been in a funk. They've dropped 4 of their last 6 games. The Panthers are looking to right the ship a little bit, but they've been struggling regardless of who the quarterback is. Things haven't exactly been unicorns and Skittles with Cam Newton at quarterback. I don't have a good feeling about the Panthers the rest of the way. Bills are struggling, but this is a team with a lot of talent. At the very least, I think they get the win on Sunday. Arizona Cardinals are on the road. They're at the Detroit Lions. Cardinals coming off a short week, but they got the Lions. The Lions are terrible. Matter of fact, Detroit 1-5 at home. 3 of those losses, though, just by 8 points or less. This might be a little bit closer game than most people expect. Again, the Cardinals on the road, a 14-point favorite. Don't know that they hit that, but for our purposes, that doesn't matter. We're just looking at wins and losses here, and I do like the Cardinals. The New York Jets are on the road at the Miami Dolphins. Remember earlier I said the Dolphins have a really good shot at getting to 500 at 7-7. They are a touchdown favorite at home. They're looking to extend their win streak to 6 games. Tua Tagovailoa has played very well and played within himself. Now, has he been Pat Mahomes? Has he been Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers? No, but they don't need him to be either. He's done what the Dolphins have needed him to do. I think that continues at least through this week. Things get a little more interesting after this for Miami as far as the remainder of their schedule. But for this week, I think they get the win. They get the 500, and they clog up that AFC playoff picture a little more. I do like the Miami Dolphins here. Dallas Cowboys on the road at the Giants. Cowboys a 10.5-point favorite against New York. The Cowboys seem like they finally put it all together once again this past week in their big win against Washington, although they did let Washington back into that game and had to hang on at the end. But I liked a lot of things I saw about Dallas. Still some questions. I don't think everything's been answered. I don't think everything's perfect for them now. But they got the Giants. Yes, it's on the road. It's a big NFC East matchup. But the Cowboys are just the flat-out better team here. I think they get the victory. This could be ugly. A lot of the NFC East battles are. But I do like the Cowboys to get the win on the road. Washington football team is at Philadelphia. The Eagles, 4-point favorites in this one. Washington, at the moment, one of the wild cards in the NFC. The Eagles would like to be. Washington's going to have some things to figure out. Taylor Heineke's status. He injured his knee last week in the loss to the Cowboys. I expect he'll play, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Jalen Hurts for the Eagles has been dealing with an ankle problem. He should be back after the bye week. This will be, look, I said a minute ago that the Cowboys and Eagles game, or the Cowboys and Giants game, could be an ugly game. We can remove the could on this one. Washington and Philly will be an ugly game. Not necessarily in a bad way, but just a knockdown, drag out, a slobber knocker, if you will. Probably not a big stack of offensive, big-time plays, things like that. It'll be a gritty game. It'll be a grind-em-out game. I like the Eagles at home in this one. Tennessee Titans are 2.5-point favorites. They're on the road at the Pittsburgh Steelers. If the NFL was a horror movie, the Steelers and the Vikings would be Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees. You can't kill them off. You think they're done, the movie's over, you go on about your life, and boom, they show back up again. They just won't go away. Steelers 6-1. They're hanging around. I think they make this game tough for Tennessee. I do like the Titans a lot, but you have to acknowledge their struggles without Derrick Henry running the football. There's some weeks they don't look like they miss him at all, and then there are other weeks where it seems like they can't get anything going offensively without him. I think they do get enough going this week, and I will take the Titans on the road to beat the Steelers. Another one of the early games on Sunday. We'll make this one quick. The Houston Texans are at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville, 3-point favorites at home. They're both 2-11. They're both in the mix for the number 1 overall pick. You have to wonder how hard either of these teams are really going to try. Urban Meyer has come under fire again this week. I think the Jaguars need this one more, although they might be better off with the loss and securing the better draft pick for next year's draft. I don't think that's really going to factor in here, though. I'll take, because I got to pick one, I'll take the Jaguars at home here. The afternoon games on Sunday, the Bengals are on the road at the Denver Broncos. Bengals have been very unpredictable this season. They are 4-2 on the road, though. Bengals also have a top 5 run defense, and that could pose problems to the Broncos if the run game can't get going, and you've got to depend on the quarterback play to get you a win. I don't like that very much for the Denver Broncos, but that Broncos defense, I think, could give Joe Burrow and Cincinnati some real problems and stymie their offense. That being said, I just don't feel good about picking the Broncos in this one, so I'll take the Bengals on the road. The 49ers, this is another Sunday afternoon game. They're 8-point favorites at home against the Falcons. Falcons, they're still there. They're 6-7. They're looking to get to 500. They're 4-2 on the road. Niners have been a little inconsistent as well. Now, they've obviously had injury problems, but just when it looks like everything's right in the world in San Francisco, something bad happens. I'll take the 49ers in this one, but I do think this is going to be a very, very close game. The LA Rams are 6.5-point favorites at home. They're playing host to the Seattle Seahawks. They're working on a short week. Seahawks, they're playing better offensively, back-to-back weeks of 30-plus points. Russell Wilson seems to be awful close to 100% after his return from the finger surgery. Rams got the 26-17 win in the first meeting this season. They've also won 4 of their last 5. I think that continues. I will take the Rams in this one. The Ravens are at home. They play host to the Green Bay Packers. Packers on the road, a 6.5-point favorite. Lamar Jackson's dealing with an ankle. Aaron Rodgers is dealing with a toe. How much does that affect these two quarterbacks? I think the bigger question here is Lamar Jackson, because even with the toe problem, Rodgers doesn't need to be mobile. Lamar Jackson's mobility is his key. And with the ankle injury, if he's limited in what he can do, that could already make a hit-or-miss offense miss a lot more than it hits. Regardless, though, I love the Green Bay Packers. I like what they're doing this season. I don't think the Ravens make it easy for them, but I do like the Packers to go into Baltimore and come out with the victory. The Sunday night game, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they are big favorites at home against the Saints. Tampa favored by 10.5. In this one, they're going to have to stop Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara. They had 193 rushing yards together last week. Tom Brady 0-3 in the regular season against the Saints since joining Tampa Bay, and that is worth keeping an eye on. New Orleans is averaging 36 points per game in those wins, but Tampa's playing really well right now. The Saints have yet to put it all together. They're still struggling. I think Tom Brady gets his first win against New Orleans as a Buccaneer. I'll take Tampa in a close one in this one. Then you get the Monday night game. This will wrap up Week 15 in the NFL. The Vikings are on the road. They're 4-point favorites against the Bears. Kirk Cousins just 1-5 against the Bears since joining Minnesota. 4 of those games, though, have been one-score games, and they've been close. Neither one of these teams can stop the run, so Dalvin Cook probably will have a big game for the Vikings. David Montgomery for the Chicago Bears as well. This will be a tight one regardless, because all the games involving the Vikings seem like they are. I'm going to call the upset here. I think Justin Fields makes some plays down the stretch. Again, I as much as I want to buy into Kirk Cousins, as much as I want to buy into the Vikings, I can't do it. I don't really like where